Thank God it's Friday, and welcome to What Are You Saying? Hashtag Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Osayome Sale. It's so good to have Glory back. Kilo
Feels like
day.
it's been
It's
ages.
okay. You sure you will like break. Don't worry. I will soon tell the teenagers to take over forever and ever.
It's not this long.
How have you been?
I've been good, even though I think sometime last week I wasn't feeling too well, so I was down with like
Oh
acid
wow.
reflux or so, partially because of I think it's more of like stress induced, and I also not eating the right time. You know, when you've not been respecting your body has a way of like humbling you. So I felt humbled, and you know, pushing, and finally, like my body was like, no, no, just take it easy. So yeah, but I thank God I'm back now. I was speaking with one of my professional colleagues, and he too was sort of like hospitalized. And I was asking him, is this something like that's particular to our sort of profession or something like that? Or maybe it's general, it's for our profession. I'm like, okay, I don't know. But generally, thank God I'm back. I'm fine. I'm respecting what needs to be respected about the rules and regulation of my body and everything, just listening to my body and obeying it.
You better say you won't disappear. You feel be like broom. You know that TV is making you look big.
Right.
Like people need to see you in reality. You know, TV adds a few pounds. So you want to disappear, Abby? I beg you. Please respect the body.
No, I'm respecting it now.
Respect
I
it too.
have to.
Wow. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Hi, Nama. Nama has joined us via Zoom. The birthday woman. Uh-uh. Nama, you're muted though. If you can hear us, unmute, you're safe.
Okay, I hope I am unmuted.
Yes, you are. How are
Hi,
you?
beautiful people. We're pushing every day.
Is this the
Life is
birthday?
life.
Life is life.
Life
Is
in
this the
bad.
birthday glow?
Ah, no, you have never seen the glow. This one is just coming. It's not my real face.
It's not your real face. How are you? How
If
is
you see
everything?
the real face, you will keep praying. But God will not allow them to see our real
No,
face.
God will not allow. God will not let it happen. How are you, Nama? How have you been? How's the
I'm
break?
good.
How's the break for us? Because we took a break. I liked the break.
Yeah. I mean, it was beautiful seeing, young, fresh minds, delving into topics. I'm like, wow, we got it covered, right? It
Yeah.
was really fantastic. I mean, I loved the crew members and the dimensions and perspectives with which but they were just brought so much variety, and it just sort of gives you hope, really, that all is not lost. All is not lost.
Absolutely. I really, really, really enjoyed my time with the teenagers. I mean, such a brilliant and I'm looking forward to 2025 teens takeover,
Yeah.
I'm
Definitely. Who knows? We might
absolutely.
even do tweets for all you know.
I'm telling you, because at this rate, 1 week is not enough anymore for them. They have so much to talk about. Yeah, all right. So if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, of course, please head on there right now. It's at Official Upgrade TV. Click on the subscribe button. Just go and help us comment, share, like the content there, and be part of our community. All right, so tonight we're having a conversation. I always like to look for trouble. Our first lady has said that she wants to give 50,000 naira to traders. And the topic for tonight will be, can Remi Tinubu's 50,000 naira grant transform traders' life? That's the question we're asking tonight. And of course, here's what we found as today's quote. The road to recovery is to stimulate small business and innovation by reducing taxation, regulation, and litigation. Okay, let us see how this quote aligns with the topic. And of course, as I said, that's our topic for tonight, right? What can 50,000 naira do in the lives of the traders, right? And when we open our phone lines, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. But first, let's run off on a break. When we come back from that break, we want to see what we found in today's news. Thanks for staying with us now. August 23rd is recognized internationally as the International Day for Remembrance of the Slave Trade and its Abolition. The day commemorates the resistance of enslaved people and their fight against the transatlantic slave trade. It marks the anniversary of the beginning of the Haitian Revolution in 1791, which was a significant event in the history of the abolition of slavery. The day is an opportunity to reflect on the impact of slavery and to promote the fight against contemporary forms of human exploitation. The significance of this day is for honoring victims, promoting awareness, and inspiring action. Now, the key themes of this year is legacy of slavery, resistance and resilience, and the path to abolition. Yeah, this is one thing I'm so grateful that it I never saw, honestly speaking. I can't even imagine like being taken against my will to do something. It's one thing for you to actually just, like out of your free will, do what you want to do, but now doing it, forcefully, it's really, really sad. Unfortunately, I've heard people in different quarters say that these days people voluntarily walk into slavery, unlike the past where you were forced into slavery. That these days is almost like just because of the way the world has kind of like conditioned a lot of things around economy, different things, and that people are deliberately using their hands, unlike before where they were forced into. Do you agree with that?
I totally agree. I just think like the dimension has changed, but in a way, it's still slavery. We no longer have the yoke and everything chains on people's neck. But then, if you look at things happening in nations and all of that, you still find that people are slavery is like bondage. People are still in bondage, economic bondage, financial, several types of bondages, even in Nigeria. So like it's just changed. I mean, it's not that very physical, but still we're still
they're invisible chains.
Yes, they're invisible,
but they're still there.
They're still there. It's very sad.
True. Very true. Nama, do you agree with that?
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, the worst kind of chain, bondage, so to speak, is the one that you don't see physically, right? So you see, I mean, the physical chains are not there, but it doesn't mean that I don't want to say spiritual chains, but the ones that we do not see, they are there.
That is not visible to the eyes.
It's not visible to the eyes at all. And then, unfortunately, like you rightly said, a lot of people are walking in not deliberately, but it's like I don't have a choice. It's like it's between the devil and the deep blue sea. So I might as well submit myself to at least my problems are being taken care of, even though I'm in bondage, right? So it's the willingness now that is the concern, because it just tells you that things look like we're making progress, but are we really making progress?
Absolutely. On that note, there was a discovery from Norma's story. He said, "Oh my God." Let's hear your what's in the news.
God is good.
God is good.
All right, so it takes me to my story for today that comes all the way from Botswana, right? So the world's second largest diamond has been found in Botswana, and it was weighing 2,492 carat diamond. Wow. And it's the biggest find since the 3,106 carat diamond that was found in South Africa in 1905. And this is the largest so far in Botswana, who has already initially discovered Botswana. It was discovered in 2019, 1,758 carats. Well, my interest was the president, who was actually, he weighed it, he brought out his two hands and he said, "Oh, wow, what?" God is good. I mean, it was that exclamation that took the day for me. But it's a great find. It was found by the Canadian mining company that that owns like 100% of the company there, Lucara Diamond. It's a great discovery, and my inquisitiveness is to as to how this is going to benefit Botswana. Because if the company owns it 100%, does that mean that yes, it was discovered in Botswana, but they do not have any stake in with regards to profit or benefit? And
Wow.
I hear that it is going to go for as much as $40 billion
Hey,
of
that is why the man screamed.
30.
He said, "What?" Did you see his eyes? He said that what? God is good.
God is good. It's a beautiful
Wow.
one, but these are my
I
concerns.
really
How
I
is it
really
going to
look forward to hearing how it's going to benefit the people. I mean,
Yeah.
Africa is so blessed, and this is why most times when I see our leaders, I just look there. Una actually don't know what una get. Because if to say they flip them, and are these people were there for Western world, they Africa, do you understand? Africans don't really know what they have, and that's why it's so sad sometimes when I see how we treat ourselves. It's so sad. But I mean, we'll keep a close. What's it
Yes.
called? We'll monitor it closely.
Close
Let's
eye on it.
yes, a close eye.
Absolutely.
Let's be watching how God is going to be good to Botswana. All right, Nama. All right, let me come to you, Glory. What was your news story?
Talking about 40 billion, and I'm here. Like, what's in the news? It's like from here, 100% to zero.
It is weird.
It's about a school owner who fled with students' WAEC fees and
Oh,
all
Jesus.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a downer.
It's a downer. Like how a school owner fled, sold property after collecting students' WAEC fees. The proprietor of Lord's Favor College in Ibadan has sparked outrage after allegedly stealing off these properties and fleeing with the WAEC fees of his students, leaving the community in shock. With no registration for the exams, distraught parents and students are left with unanswered questions and shattered hopes. As the search for the proprietor continues, suspicions grow, with some labeling him as dubious, while others believe he may be influenced by darker spiritual forces.
Hey,
Why are we always like trying to bring the devil into things he has nothing to do with?
Devil go tell God, say God, but why? Why are Nigerians like this? Any little thing they go say na me do am. But I want to say that this is actually very, very sad. First of all, I think WAEC, or yeah, this is WAEC now.
Yeah.
But I think it's junior WAEC because I saw GSS there.
Yes.
WAEC should actually be something that a student should just go on a portal,
And
register and do all the whatever necessary payment. Why does it have to go through a school? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Except if maybe internet issues and the school say, okay, bring the money, then would help you register. Because I believe WAEC is actually supposed to be a direct registration thing.
I'm actually surprised
Do you
why it
understand?
has to be this way. I don't know.
But if you will look at the structure of the school, and this is where we always feel so sad about our government failures, right? Because this school has no business being a school. Is this a school? Is this building supposed to be a school? You know, and you'll be shocked that some of the government schools, this school is even looking better than some of the government schools that they have. It's just sad. I just don't know how it's going to impact the students. That's the one that is just painful.
Yeah.
All right, let me take my story quickly. Kumuyi urges Christians, Muslims, collaboration for nation's growth. The General Superintendent of the Deeper Life Bible Church, Pastor William Kumuyi, has called on Christians and Muslims in the country to ignore religious segregations and collaborate to change Nigeria for the better. He stressed the need for the adherents of the two religions to see each other as a people created by God who must take positive steps to lay a solid foundation for a better society. Of course, he stated this at a ceremony of the Changemakers International Conference that's happening at Akure, Ondo State capital. Interesting. I'll just leave it there. I'll leave it there because this issue around religion and how we've been blinded and allowed religion to come in between or influence our sense of judgment. I don't really know how people allow those things to really disturb them. I mean, there are some things that, you know, it doesn't even cross my mind. You know, I can't be thinking, where are you from? I can't be thinking what God you serve. That will not concern me. Do you have love for humanity? Are you impacting humanity? That's what I think about. So I'm hoping that people will listen, I'm hoping that people will listen. Even amongst Christians, there's a lot of segregation, not to even
Yes.
talk about Muslim Christian or traditionalist Christian or whatever it is. We'll take a break. When we come back from the break, let's discuss 50,000 naira that is going to be handed to traders by our First Lady, Remi Tinubu. Stay with us. Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges.
With the growing youth population and very little engagement.
That is a ticking time bomb.
We're blessed people with a diverse culture who have a lot to say.
And yes, we are talking.
It is important we drive conversations that informs, inspires, and influences thoughts and actions.
If we say there is beauty in diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture.
We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation.
As we are the hope for the future.
Yesterday's conversation shaped today.
What are you saying to shape your tomorrow?
We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, in the news today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's wife, Remi Tinubu, has announced a significant initiative, a 50,000 naira grant aimed at boosting the livelihoods of 37,000 women traders. Now, Senator Remi Tinubu was represented by the FCT Mandate Secretary for Women Affairs. Noting that the government was aware of the challenges faced by small and medium enterprises in the country. So tonight we want to explore its potential impact and ask some crucial questions, right? Can this grant truly transform the lives of these traders and ignite broader economic change? That's the conversation for tonight. So, ladies and ladies. First of all, I like to poke people. When you heard that they wanted to give a whole 50,000 naira to 37,000 women, traders, I mean, what was the first thought that came to your mind?
I was speechless. That's the first. Some kind of, you face or you read about things and you hear of things that will just make you speechless. And if you want to talk about it, it's almost like you're ungrateful. Like, even just be grateful for the little things while you expect the bigger ones. But at this point, should we really be grateful for the small things? I understand. Yeah, you're trying to... let me just come from this approach. Like, if you want to give something that someone will truly, really appreciate. Just to justify how I felt just hearing about it, I had to go to the comments and say, let's not be like it's just me that's seeing this thing like this. And it's almost like everyone else is shares the same view. Do you get? Like 50,000 in this day and age in Nigeria, where a bag of rice, we'll always make reference to the bag of rice because, of course,
That's our...
Yeah. It's like pouring water on a deck's back. Like, it's which impact, do you hope to get from that? And if it's that you're giving maybe 50,000 to say food support for maybe a week or 2 days.
A week.
Or 1 day, at least since they're saying rural, let's assume, okay, maybe the cost of living compared to it's a little, let's just assume. But to say business, it's like, to me, it's like almost like an insult. That's how I see it, because it can really do nothing.
And it's so interesting that this topic is so apt, because Fridays are our SME days, right? So we always talk about things that impact small businesses. So when I saw this topic, I say, finally, we have a topic to discuss on a Friday. But let me hear your thoughts, Noma. Mind you that for 37,000 women, this money comes to a total of 1.8 billion naira. What was your initial thought when you heard that the president's wife, Remi Tinubu, was going to be given 50,000 naira to 37,000 petty traders.
Speechless. Speechless.
Why all of you speechless?
I'm just echoing Glory's thoughts there because, so first and foremost, we're thinking about how much this money is. That was really what came to mind for me. The fact that it was, times 37,000 women, you're talking about 1.8, a whooping 1.85 billion naira, right? But in the scheme of things, like Glory has said, it's like a drop in the ocean, right? Because the Nigeria that we have found ourselves in today, I was thinking about who are there's so many questions in my mind when I thought about the petty traders. So but in the course of the conversation, we're going to break these things down. Petty trading, what would they normally sell? You would sell detergent, you would sell milk, you would sell tomatoes, right? You would sell, basic food stuff. Now, there was a conversation we had a few weeks ago about eggs, right? Like one egg was to the rate of, is it 400 naira or so? So what, if you do the math, right? 50,000 by the number of eggs.
That's about 10 crates of eggs or less than. Because I hear eggs are like 5,000 plus. So let's just say it at 5,000, 10 crates of eggs.
10 crates of eggs. And how far is that going to go? So it's an effort, right? Let's not take away the fact that it is an effort. But how much is this effort going to make? And the questions that arise is how well thought through was this initiative? If it was going to be beneficial for the number of women, 37,000, how can we measure the impact of this initiative? Because for it to be beneficial, from the people, the petty traders themselves, this thing should be, when you're talking about grants, when you think about grants, you've been in this business a little. If you think about grants, you're thinking about something that is sustainable, right? Something that can sustain you for a period of time until you get your act right. But when we look at 50,000 in the scheme of things with the economy of Nigeria and how things are going and what we can afford with the value that the Naira is currently getting, you are wondering that really this is an effort. Is almost, I don't want to say it's an effort in futility, but I foresee that the impact may not be as much as the intentions of the First Lady.
Okay. All right, so to that note, let me take some comments that we saw in the comment section. Like you, I ran to the comment section. Let me take a few comments that I saw. Now, the person says, sorry, let me pull it out of my phone so it can be easier for me to read. It says, one person says, Ma, there's absolutely nothing 50,000 can do. I think that's what it means, can do for their businesses. Give 370 women 5 million each and hold them responsible if they don't achieve anything with it in 9 months. That's what somebody said. That's from Spotless. Somebody says, another person was just questioning that if there's an office like the office of the First Lady in the Constitution. That's not the conversation for tonight. It says, I see a government with no ideas for sustainable development for our great nation. They so love, you see, I like this part. It says, hand-me-downs. 20K, 50K won't create sustainable change. We need to address corruption in the system, boost investors' confidence, and jobs will be created by all sectors. It's that easy. That was from, I think, Steve Gause. Then somebody says, all these are propaganda. Who is funding this program? It says the office of the First Lady is not an official government office. Is she funding it privately? That's another question somebody's asking. Somebody now asks, what do you want to do for them? That is the 50,000 naira. It says deals are going on for both new and used. Oh, that's a different one. Somebody says handout government. Which one is giving out 50K to their friends? 37,000 out of a population of 250 million. It says mad people everywhere. Somebody is commenting it to say this is an awesome idea. Now, having said that, right, I'd like to come in to say that when I saw this, first of all, I've always said this thing that I question our thought process when it comes to empowerment. I question it really bad because how do you measure that you have empowered someone? You have empowered someone when the person is able to self-sustain, right? If I say I am empowering you, I give you something that ensures that you are going to, like, for the rest of your life, you'll be fine, whether I'm available or I'm not. But in Nigeria, we see it repeatedly over and over again that every time something like an empowerment program is happening, it's always taking the semblance of a hand-me-down situation. For the purpose of this conversation, I actually reached out to the FCT Mandate Secretary, Dayo Benjamin Lani, Mrs. Dayo Benjamin Lani. So I have reached out to her. Hopefully, she would come by herself next week to come and explain how this is going to happen. But if I were to be in the position of leadership and I were in a position to advise, right? I'm not even going to question where this funds is coming. I'm not going to question whether the first lady, is authorized, or maybe this funding, where is it coming from? Is it a government fund, blah, blah, blah. That's even not the point. I understand that they're trying to empower petty traders, right? The question I would ask is, what is the goal for this empowerment? Is the goal to just, let's just keep them short, or let's be seen to be working? Or the goal is actually real impact? If the goal is actually real impact, 1.85 billion naira is not small money.
At all.
It's not small money. I will be thinking in the direction of, let us set up something, right? Like an establishment where all these people can be gainfully employed and have a sustained salary. So they kind of like rotate. There are different impact, social impact companies that I have seen. There's a woman in Ghana where she went to a community of shea butter processors, women that are inside the local rural communities for shea butter. And what she did was she mopped up those entire women, their entire value chain, created a company around them. So for every time they process the shea butter, she is an offtake, and she exports those shea butter to the US, to Canada, to different parts of the other Western world. And guess what? From that revenue, those women are able to feed, take their children to good schools. They're able to live comfortably. So you see the women with joy, they are doing the job. But you see, that thing is a sustainable process. It means that for as long as, they are producing something and they're giving value to whoever that they're selling those things to, they will get value back in return. What can 50,000 naira do today for a petty trader? How much impact can 50,000 naira make to any business right now? Do you understand? If the intention is to make sure that these women are sustained and they're able to feed, or they're able to take their children to school and all of that, I don't think it is in the best interest for 50,000 naira to be handed to them. But that is just my thoughts, right? Second thing that came to my mind is that why are we not always thinking of the power of the collective? Do you understand? Because when you start to give people 50,000 naira, it is still an individualistic thing you're creating. Let me just go and collect my own and go. And that's why it goes back to my first point. Why are we not thinking, what kind of business can we create? For instance, we are palm, we have a palm farm, right? Where we do palm oil and all of that. That entire value chain, up onto the palm trees, you can make brooms. There are so many things that can happen that will make sure that there is a steady flow of income coming for these women. So why are we always thinking that money solves the problem? What eventually gives you money is the value you give in exchange for money. So why are we not always thinking, what is the thing that we can do to make these women produce value so that they get money in return? right?
Yeah.
But let's take a break. When we come back from that break, we want to open our phone lines. I would like to hear your thoughts on this. Stay with us. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we're still having a conversation. The question is, can Remi Tinubu's 50,000 Naira grant transform the lives of our traders? And please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-8663. Our phone line is now open, or our phone lines are now open, 07025007749. Or you can call us on 070-1424-2420. Those are the numbers to call. And remember, when you do call, turn off the volume of whatever device it is you're watching us from, so we don't get a feedback and we can hear you. Do you what's it called? Do you subscribe to the 50,000 Naira handed to petty traders? Do you think it will make any difference? Do you think it is worth it? Because I've heard this argument several times. You don't know what 5,000 can do for a woman in a rural area. I don't hear her. You understand? But I feel like when I hear the subject of empowerment, right, I think we need to really change our mindset on what empowerment is. If you really want to help me, help me. Don't give me fish. Teach me how to fish. Give me a skill that whether you're here tomorrow or not, I'll be fine. Do you understand? These kinds of mindset of handing them money and all of that is what also kind of like continues to breed the poverty. But we have a few questions I'd like to, throw out for us on the table. Of course, we've asked that what is the main goal of the 50,000 Naira grant initiative? How does it align to the broader social and economic objectives, right? It would be nice to understand. So now the question is what qualifies for this grant? What are the criteria for selection? Of course, they said there are there any potential challenges in reaching and verifying these 37,000 women traders? That's why I'm really hoping that the FCT mandate secretary can respond and probably come on Monday to answer these questions. What types of businesses, what sectors are they expected to gain the most from this financial support? Could the grant stimulate local economies or create new opportunities for growth? What are the potential long-term social impacts on the women receiving the grants? Just few questions. I mean, did you do any research? Did you find anything on it?
I tried to do some research, but couldn't find, real substantial data to respond to some of this. And like even while we were calling it out, most of it I'm just seeing NA, null and void, not applicable because what's the eligibility criteria to assess this? It's just like, I see it like, again, part of that situation in Nigeria where we have people in government who come out and I just see it like gift. It's not, if they should have used another title for this, then okay, it's a little bit understandable. But when we're talking about grants, and if you look at, I watched the video where I think one of them who gave the speech was talking about sustainability. How is that? It's like, do you know there are educated people in Nigeria? Like, do you think you're addressing, do you get? Because how can you be talking about sustainability? I mean, like, there will be criteria. There will be things which you need to be able to meet to be able to assess this sort of fund. But I don't think I heard it. Maybe there's a video out there. I stand corrected. But I don't think I heard it from the videos I watched. I'll make my reference just this week. One of the very popular man of God, Pastor Jerry, when he was celebrating his birthday, he gave out grants to businesses, I think ₦1 million. You could see that, you find a committee, right? You pitch your business. When they see that your business has potential, then they are like laid down criteria for you to assess this. So they're not just giving money because they want money that will, the return on that, it's going to be more. And you can make more of it in the economy. You can employ, you can empower, you can do many things. Because really, this hand-to-mouth kind of, this is not grants to me. Like, 1.8 billion, it's like That's real money. Just give it to, like someone said, 380. Let's not even say 380.
Even if you gave 1 million.
Even if it's 1 million.
But you divide it across.
But even, okay, let's say you're giving to rural, maybe they are not really structured and all of that. But you find women with ideas, and just like you said, you find group of women and you try to empower them. Then you also set up committees to monitor. How do you want to monitor 50,000 naira? It will finish in 2 days. What am I saying? How do you want to track it? It's just like, if we can do better. We've seen this happen over and over again, where they'll give food palliative. I don't think that's the point we are now in Nigeria. It's not going to solve the problem of Nigeria. It's not going to create jobs. It's not going to make anything better. You're just going to do that, and you're just going to spend money, and there's no real return on the money you're spending. If you're giving money and say this is like a donation, just take care of yourself this week, it's understandable. But if you're giving it, saying you want to impact, you want to like ensure sustainability in the economy, then you have to be more intentional. You have to lay down rules and regulation. You need to follow through. There's need for criteria. So I don't understand this. I don't understand it. Like, if the intention is, it's okay, but the way, it's not it at all. We can do better. It's not it.
No, let me hear your thoughts.
Gloria, I feel your pain because, I was going through it in my head, and, the same thoughts. Like I said earlier, I said, it's almost feels like a thought that I said, oh, this is a great idea, let's run. And they didn't really think through or process exactly what they had intended. If what they intended and what they actually are doing were going to get the results that they desired, right? Because when you think about it, like, I went online as well and I did a little bit of research, and I couldn't quite find anything. I was trying to find, okay, what are the main goals? Basically, what I see online is the fact that the main goals for this initiative, which is called Renewed Hope Initiative, is about economic empowerment and, get towards women and youth. But there's no specifics as to how this economic empowerment is going to take place. So let's assume this is one of the initiatives. We want to be able to give grants, and we're giving 50,000 naira grants. Who qualifies for these? The qualification, again, that I see is just petty traders. And then I go back to, what are the things that commodities or things that petty traders will be involved in selling? You're talking about basic amenities, probably milk, provisions, toiletries, and in the food department, you have those who will be selling
perishables,
perishables, vegetables, tomatoes, and stuff like that. And then you check it. You go to the market. How much is a basket of tomatoes? How much is a basket? Is a bag of beans now? How much is a bag of rice? We use rice as a benchmark, isn't it? We had a caller call in to say, I spent as much as, was it 80,000 naira to buy a bag of rice? 95,000. So I'm wondering, am I empowering a petty trader who sells rice to buy one bag of rice? That's what it's looking like. Or if it's in the tomato department, am I empowering a tomato seller to sell, how many bags of tomatoes is she going to be able to sell with this 50,000? So, or the baskets, or whatever, onions and things like that. So you're asking the question, like, how, because I was also thinking, who are the advisors when it comes to things like that? Who is advising the First Lady with regard, like, this is a beautiful concept, but how we're going to go about it, we may not be able to make the desired impact with this number of women, 37,000 women. It might look like a big deal, $1.8 billion, almost $1.9 billion, but it look like a sorry, naira. My bad. Let's not even go there. So, It might look like a lot of money, but again, I come back to the value of the naira. We are exporting a lot of these things. By the time you do exchange rates, your naira is literally worthless. Now, I like the perspective with which you came, or when you were talking about groups, right? Looking for proper initiatives. We're talking about SMEs, right? Because part of the initiative was to empower small and medium scale businesses. What are valid, genuine businesses that women are doing that we can actually use this money to fund so that we can track, like Lori said, we can track records that we are actually having some level of productivity, and that this productivity is sustainable. Again, I go back there. How sustainable is giving 50,000 naira today? And how far is it going to go in helping the average petty trader or small business owner in Nigeria be able to move their businesses forward? And when you look at it in the scheme of things, is almost foolhardy to say that this is a very well constructed initiative in the first place. I read a message on Twitter. Somebody said, his name is Afri Sagacity, and he said, let's break this down. So Remi Tinubu and her team are offering a 50,000 financial gift to Nigerian women across the country, numbering up to 37,000. As usual, her team came up with a fine big name for the program, Recapitalization Grant. They say it is part of the Renewed Hope initiative, which targets to empower Nigerian women, particularly in petty businesses. So let's consider that the initiative is genuine, which very much unlikely is not. What are the requirements? So the women, who obviously will be very poor, ignorant party fanatics, will have to go through the hurdle of applying for the grant. Then they transport themselves to the place where they'd be summoned to collect the money. Eventually, maybe after shuttling for weeks to months, spending money in the process, they eventually are given the sum of 50K. What then will 50K afford a businesswoman in Tinubu's Nigeria?
Okay, well, Nama, hold that thought. Let's take a call. I'll come back to that. Stay with us. Loma, you're live. Good evening.
Oh, my sister and Joa and all the world.
Good evening.
People look very beautiful.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening.
Go ahead.
It's quite unfortunate that in Nigeria we have become refugees, that you will give money. We have become refugees. Tell me, 50,000. In fact, you said, can Remi Tinubu 50,000 grant transform traders? I said some traders. So when you said traders, it looks as if the entire traders in Nigeria, some traders, because they said 37,000. So it's quite unfortunate that our mommy in the land, the first lady, it's a good idea, but it's grossly inadequate. So I want to let them know, don't give this money, make the economy better. Make sure the refineries you have in Malta, bring it back to Nigeria. Let Malik Yari, the downstream, and let these people make that place, let other people manage it, let the economy be stabilized. See, a woman with 20,000, 10,000 will do better when the economy is good. When you give us this 50,000 and the economy is bad, it can never go anywhere. It can never transform anything. So please, money president, please do the needful and make sure the economy is good. Let the refinery start working again and things will be better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Loma. I completely agree. The truth is, this money would have made an impact if the economic situation was better. I mean, I like where the trail of where Norma was going. She said, and it's true, they would not use transport, go where they tell them they submit. Oh, you didn't bring one form, they go back. By the time you would deduct all that money, in the end, maybe you would have spent 20,000 to go and collect 50,000. Norma, please go ahead and finalize your thoughts on that.
the last point I wanted to make was something that the first lady had mentioned, I think through her representative. She had mentioned that, I mean, this is supposed to be the target being women and youths, that it is strategic. And in her words, she said that when women thrive, their families will thrive, and by extension, community and nations will prosper. That in itself is true. But when women can only thrive, I was just going to cement that, but Loma had taken the words out of my mind. Women can only thrive in an economy that is thriving. When you give them 50,000 naira in an economy that is very bad, it's almost worthless, really, because the value and the effort that would go into even making that money work is almost, I mean, your farmers, seedling, how much is seedling? Or how do they, when they go to transact for these things, how much can they afford with the value that the naira is commanding presently? And that is a major concern. That is something that needs to be looked into. It's not just about, oh, we've given money, but how valuable is that support going to be helping these petty traders or small business owners?
Absolutely. So, I mean, in that conversation, right, I'd like to just understand. So, but okay, you know what, let's take a caller, then I'll come back. Rosalind, you're live. Hello? Are you there? Okay, I think we lost her. Hello, are you there? Rosalind, you're live. Hello? Okay. So I was just going to ask a question. Let's assume that the economy is thriving. 50,000 naira will make a difference. It will make an impact. I want to ask, what is the structure around the distribution? How do you monitor and evaluate? Because these are the things. Remember, Beta Edu's matter is still somewhere in the chilling. They've just kind of like cooled it somewhere. But these are avenues, right? But I believe we have Rosalind back. You're live. Good evening. Good evening.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
You babes look beautiful.
Thank you.
Really, when we talk about 50,000 business, as at today, nobody can use 50,000 to start a business. In the first case, things are increasing every day. I believe that even a bottle of Coke today is selling for 30 naira, 300 naira. Is it great that you are talking about? Or the bag of flour that is selling for almost 80-something thousand. So what can a woman do with 50,000? Even to buy ordinary granules to sell. A bottle of granite is selling for 3,000. So I don't know how 50,000 is going to help a woman to take off a business. Moreover, in Nigeria today, that we are, things are increasing every day. Nobody is seeing things going down. And no one will be happy to start a business that you cannot complete and you cannot continue. Continuity is not there. I think we need to beg the First Lady and the President. We are not palliative country. We are economic country that every woman wants to work as a woman and earn money good to take care of their children. That is my take-up.
Thank you. We're not palliative country. Oh, thank you, Rosalind. Okay, so I was just going to say that, I mean, let us just pretend like everything is fine. How do we even measure? How do we put a monitoring and all of that? Because again, these kinds of initiatives that they blanket under economic empowerment, I don't know what Norma called it, one terminology, you know.
It's
is that what it is?
names.
What did you say?
Renewed hope in...
No, there was something else apart from the Renewed Hope Initiative. There was something else you called.
Recapitalization.
What do you call them again? So recapitalization grants. Let's not even assume that some of these things, because again, they blanket it under the guise of, okay, we're trying to, what's the word now? We're trying to revitalize the economy and all of that, right? But we know how this goes with government, because first of all, we are not a data country. We do not even know where these women are. What are the parameters that arrived at 37,000 women? What qualifies them to be
were picked?
Yes. What qualified the women that were picked? You understand? And in the end, how do we track the impact of the 50,000 naira? So let's even just pretend like 50,000 naira is okay for them.
Yeah.
How do we track it? How do we know that, okay, at the beginning of the disbursement of that money, they were at ground zero? By the time the money was disbursed and they started the business, maybe in another 3 months, in another 6 months, right? They see the trajectory. Okay, their capital grew to like 100,000. It grew to, and all of that. How do we even monitor? So I am really pleading with the advisors of our leaders and the leaders themselves, right? When you want to make things, these kinds of great initiatives, right? I mean, I don't want to even condemn anything. Yeah. Let's look beyond the traditional hand-me-down kind of structure that we've been used to, because that's what we do all the time, right? And let's really look at it and say, okay, you know what is real sustainability? What is real empowerment? If I say I'm empowering you, what does that word mean? How does empowerment, change the narrative? How does it change the game for the woman? I mean, if we're able to just kind of look beyond this, I just want quick wins and let people just be singing my praises as compared to real impact, I think we would find the answer just by answering that question.
I think you don't want to spend 1.8 billion and no one is actually appreciating it. That's like money which is not being recognized. Look at all the comments and it's almost the same. I have someone here on Instagram saying, do you think Nigerians are like all those beggars lining up in front of your Bodilon house, Ikoyi, begging for food and 2K? And if you sum up this amount, like it's very tangible and, it's not really yielding the sort of result or maybe the sort of reaction. This is an initiative where if, they had implemented it properly, you would be singing here and saying the government is actually making good effort. But look at it. Why is it always like this? Or
My
why?
sister,
Why?
Let me ask Wisdom. Wisdom is on the call. Wisdom, why is it always like this?
Okay, ma. Good evening, ma.
Good evening.
Okay, I just want to do about this on the 50,000 for each woman. When I got the money that day, I will use 20,000. Okay, use 15,000 to pay the debt with my own. And use 5,000.
Oh, Wisdom, so sorry, I can't hear you. I think he was breaking down how the money will go. Oh, wow. I wish you can call back, please. Let me hear what you're trying to say. The line was a bit, shaky. But I think we have a comment. Norma, do you want to take that comment? You're asking me why. I don't know. If you ask me, who I will ask.
Great initiative. There's just always implementation problem. Why? And we just.
Did you not see that senator that bought wheelbarrow and said it is a empowerment program? They buy you wheelbarrow. You go continue to pack the tire. Our idea of empowerment in this country is just so flawed. Honestly speaking, I don't even know. Now, let's take Daniel Ilo's comments.
Okay, so we have this comment from Daniel. He says, good evening, my dear beautiful sisters of what are you saying? #ways. Can Remi Tinubu's 50,000 grant transform traders' lives? The answer is a capital no. This is our so-called first lady. Our so-called first lady is a letdown and should be ashamed of herself. What is 50,000 compared to the millions, billions, and trillions they have squandered since they resumed office? Are we pricing pure water or recharge card? My dear beautiful sister Glory gave reference to a bag of rice which cannot be afforded with 50,000 naira. My dear beautiful sister Norma made mention of the kind of advisors the First Lady has, that things have to go bad like this. I support the person who said that every trader should be given 5 million naira each for total transformation of businesses. Our First Lady should stop fooling herself and step up. Happy birthday to our dear beautiful sister, Polish coach, Norma Fana. Many more years in good health. God bless you. Beautiful ladies in the studio, my name is Daniel Ilo. Hashtag Ways, your regular fan. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank
I
you.
mean,
Thank you.
I don't have anything to say.
You will have it too,
No.
because you come up with this topic. So we need to know why we have all these great initiatives, but implementation is always a problem. And we sit here and we are like talking about this so the government can hear us, and just maybe somehow, somewhere in their heart, they are going to like do things properly. But no. Every time they come up and it's just a fancy name. Look at what the name it's called. Like
no, what if that name again? It's not the. It's a now revitalization.
And I totally
recapitalization. Waiting.
France, yes.
They want to recapitalize the grant, like they are giving you fresh capital.
50,000.
Nigerian leadership is getting it wrong, and how can these palliatives transform ordinary traders in this country? We did not elect the first lady in the first place. And how can this venture translated into effective production in the country? In short, this is called a clueless initiative and misplaced priority. Just unfortunate. Haba, Raphael, wanna pity our first lady now. It's a good initiative. I hope that we'll be able to get the FCT mandate secretary, because I've sent her a message. Auntie, come and help us explain how this is going to work. Because honestly speaking, I think it's a good thing to want to give grants to traders, but I don't think first of all 50,000 is the appropriate money to give them, not with this kind of current economic situation. Secondly, I want to understand the modalities. Thirdly, I want to understand the matrix. How do we measure the impact after it's been disbursed? If we can answer that, I think we're good. But on that note, I love this conversation. When they give us more topic? The truth is that it is not me that determines the topic. It is the government. Whatever they throw at us, we'll talk about it. That's why we're here. We're just here to say what we have to say. All right, we'll see you guys. Before we go, ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. Like, share, follow all our engagements, and follow us across all social media handle. Thank you, Unama, and thank you, Glory. If you missed our call today, it says the road to recovery is to stimulate small businesses and innovation by reducing taxation, regulations, and litigations. Right? We'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. No, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. We'll see you guys on Monday at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.